What's up, everybody? It's Onorato and Company live from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern in Gloversville. Man, what a spot. Look at the backdrop here. We'll walk around and show you this place. It is absolutely awesome. I'll be honest with you. This is just my second time here. I'm blown away. I mean, first time I was here, it wasn't open, so we didn't have the people hanging out. But look at the backdrop. Channel Bar is definitely where it's at on a nice summer night. Like tonight, you need to dodge the thunderstorms. They've got the beautiful restaurant as well where you can duck inside and have a great meal, something to drink. We also are here courtesy of Saratoga Eagle Bud Light Seltzer Jeep on full display. Check it out. Pretty cool. Love that. They've got giveaways all night long here. If you're watching us on TV over the weekend, we're doing this live on a Monday night, kind of after hours for the way we generally operate on Onorato and Company, but you can catch us every weekend as well on My 4 Saturday nights, Sunday mornings on News Channel 13. We've got a lot to dive into here. Our guests, MLS analyst Tony Cherchi. Messi is in Miami. Big deal now for MLS. And how will that kind of swing soccer in the States? We'll get into that with Tony Cherchi, the MLS analyst. We'll dive into the production of The Lion King coming to Proctor's Theater. But the top of mind for everybody right now on this Monday, past the NFL franchise tag deadline, is what is going to happen with Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants. Will he be there for training camp, or is he going to hold out now that long-term deal didn't get done between the Giants and one of the best running backs in all of football just 25, 26 years old? Let's get it going. Live from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern. It's Onorato and Company.
This is Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Shout out to our people at Alpenhaus. I'll be in Amsterdam next Thursday. That's the 27th. Incredible renovation. Andy Heck and Katie Osborne, that entire family, the Alpenhaus crew, has undergone on Route 30 in Amsterdam. Can't wait to show everybody that next week. Let's dive into it here. Live from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern on the great Sacandaga Lake. Look at the backdrop. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll walk you through the Channel Bar here in a little bit. And we're going to talk with general manager of the Lanzi Family Restaurants, Gaetano Lanzi, coming up in about 10 minutes or so. But let's get to the news of the night, and that is Saquon Barkley does not have a long-term deal now with the New York Giants. So the franchise tag deadline passes at 4 p.m. No long-term deal. Look, whether or not he signs that tender, it's a $10 million tender to play the 2023 season. We will see. This could be a long, drawn-out process. And quite frankly, it's almost better in a way if he's not at camp right away. Like, delay some of the conversation that's going to just naturally come in terms of, are you going to play if he's at camp and he's not taking part in all the team activities? Is it simply a precaution? Probably, right? I mean, I wouldn't blame the guy. Hey, I'm going to make sure I get to the season. I want to be healthy for the NFL season to then maybe cash in on the deal. So let me play the Barkley side of things here first, and then we'll talk about what the Giants are doing. Sam's watching. Good evening, Sam. Good to see you, man. No Ash right now. Athlete of the Week shoot for News Channel 13, but she may join in progress, as we say. All right, so for Saquon Barkley, there's just not much recourse here. The Giants are doing what they probably should do, because technically Barkley is going to play at some point this season. He may not be happy about it, but he's not going to sit the entire year. Remember the last guy to do that, Le'Veon Bell? It just didn't work out. Yes, he got his deal with the Jets, but it was a full year of missed production from one of the best running backs in football at the time. He should have probably just played, and I think he would have been in more game shape. It took him a while with New York, and then he had nagging injuries and was banged up. Melvin Gordon held out for the Chargers, but he was back that season. Didn't really get the deal he wanted, realized I'm missing all these game paychecks. I don't think so. I'm coming back. Barkley's going to play at some point this year. It's just how soon he shows up at camp, and I don't think it will be day one. All right, so how about for Carol's watching too? Love it. Sam says play for the 10 million. Have a great year. I'll get paid next year. Probably. But remember, you can tag guys back-to-back years. I mean, the Giants could use up 2 years of Barkley in his prime without giving him a long-term contract. Very possible that they could do that. And think about it this way, too. If they do that and they have Barkley for 2 more years just on tags alone, and this team doesn't progress in the playoffs and Daniel Jones doesn't get better, they might reboot this thing completely. You're talking about a new quarterback at that point, Barkley in his late 20s. You might just kind of be starting over in New York. So Joe Shane, Brian Dable, they might kick this thing down the road really kind of as long as they can, and that's the way the system is set up in the NFL. I don't think Barkley's there day one at training camp. I do think he's on the field week 1, which ultimately for Giants fans is really all that's going to matter. The conversation at camp will be all about Barkley when he isn't there and when he is there. How many of the team activities is he really taking part in? Is he risking injury prior to playing in a game? Very interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff here. The Giants are doing what they should do. I already kind of laid it out here, right? Like it's a little bit of a wait and see here. Barkley missed a good amount of the 2020 season with injury, but he's coming off probably his most productive year. And that's saying a lot because he had one of the best rookie seasons for a running back in NFL history. And he was so good last year. And that allowed Daniel Jones to thrive. Jones needs Barkley, period. The Giants know that. They've got to figure out a way to make Barkley happy enough that he's going to play this season. But they're doing the smart thing. Instead of investing a lot of money in a running back, they've already invested too much in the quarterback, in my opinion. They were just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. We didn't pick up Jones's 5th-year option on the rookie contract, and so now we've got to make a decision on him as a free agent, and that's going to cost them a lot of money. It's going to cost them more than $40 million a year. Yeah, exactly. So Jeff says it here, too. They overpaid Danny Dimes. They might be able to sign Barkley had they not gone so big on Jones, but Jeff, they didn't have a choice. What were you going to do? Let Jones walk? What they could have done, really, is they could have played this the other way. They could have tagged Jones and signed Barkley. That was a possible play. Tag on a quarterback, a lot of money. But they could have done that. Remember Washington did that with Kirk Cousins for 2 years, and they kind of realized, okay, Cousins isn't our guy going forward. But Barkley's not alone. Josh Jacobs was the best running back in football by most statistics and metrics last year. And he didn't get a long-term deal from Las Vegas, by the way. How do you think Devontae Adams is feeling these days? Goes to the Raiders to play with his buddy Derek Carr, no longer there. Oh, at least I've got the best running back in football, arguably, on my offense to help me out. Oh, who knows what he's going to do? Josh Jacobs, 25 years old, just turned 25. Might sign the tender, might play, but you're Devontae Adams, you got to be thinking this is not going the way I thought it was going to go in Las Vegas. And then Tony Pollard, he's already signed the tender. He was out at off-season activities. So Pollard will play for Dallas, and I think he'll be at training camp every step of the way. And remember, Pollard was the change of pace back for the Cowboys next to Ezekiel Elliott. Barkley and Jacobs are proven featured backs. I don't blame them for wanting big deals. I don't blame them at all. And it's crazy. Like some of these guys will get paid less than backup wide receivers around the league, which is just kind of nuts. But that is the NFL and running backs. So what do we think, everybody? Barkley going to hold out? If you're watching us as we go throughout the week, keep commenting on the show. Would love to catch up with your thoughts on this throughout the week. So as we're live on a Monday night from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern in Gloversville on the Great Sacandaga Lake, you are probably watching us on TV over the weekend from this spot. This is live on a Monday. We're live every Thursday morning at 10 o'clock on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Next week's show live from Amsterdam at Alpenhaus. So I'm crushing Fulton County. That's for sure. All right. Sam says no. Won't hold out. You think day one he's there? I'm not buying it. I've already said, like, there's just not a lot of recourse for him. I get that. but I just don't think he's showing up there. You have to send a message of some sort, right? And you can still be a good teammate and all of that and not be there day one of training camp. Every player in that locker room would get it and understand it, wouldn't blame him at all. You're there for the games. That's what they care about most. And Barkley will be there for the games. But I think strategically, like you have to do something. You have to make it known you're just really not happy with this situation. Jeff says, yeah, going to hold out for about a week or so, come into camp in time for, yeah, I agree. And he'll be in shape. Saquon Barkley's a monster. He'll be ready to go week one. He will be in shape. Carol says, is he worth it? Yeah, he's worth it. When you look at, he's worth it from this respect. Daniel Jones is under 500 when he doesn't have a running back go for 100 yards or 100 yards rushing behind him. It can be a collaboration, a committee, if you will. But he's like 5-1 when the Giants do rush for 100 yards behind Daniel Jones. That includes the playoffs. Great performance by that offense against a bad Vikings defense in the playoffs, but still. So, yes, he's worth it because Daniel Jones needs that behind him in this offense. Our thoughts there on Saquon Barkley, the Giants and the franchise tag. Boy, what a frustrating thing it's got to be for NFL players. That tag, I know they absolutely hate it when they get tagged, but there's just not much they can do about it. All right, let's take a quick break here on Onorato and Company. When we come back, Gaetano Lanzi, general manager of the Lanzi family of restaurants, to tell us about this great spot on the Great Sacandaga Lake, Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern, and the brand new Channel Bar, which we will show you. We're back in 30 seconds.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
We're live from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern here on the Great Sacandaga. You know, I hear a lot of people say Sacandaga. Sacandaga. How do you say it?
Say tomato.
No. There's a right way.
Sacandaga, Great Sacandaga Lake.
We're joined by Gaetano Lanzi, who's the general manager for the Lanzi family restaurants. I mean, an incredible array of what you guys offer, Gaetano, but this place is awesome. We did a little bit of a walk around and showed the people some of this spot, but as we talk, I'm going to show them the Channel Bar. Tell us a little bit about, what makes this place so attractive to people. They come here by boat, obviously, and there are plenty of cars in the parking lot tonight too.
Yeah, so, during COVID, we turned a threat into an opportunity, and we created one of a very unique outdoor facility that it's the only outdoor bar around, and really proud about it. We put turf on the ground. Yep. People are playing cornhole, and you feel like you're on vacation here. So it's vacation vibes.
All right, let me show you kind of maybe this is your COVID baby, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
The Channel Bar?
Yeah, the Channel Bar.
What was the inspiration behind this, and what do you love about it, man?
The inspiration is, when people come here, you want to be on vacation. So we wanted to bring, the vacation vibes to the Great Sacandaga Lake and create an outdoor facility unlike any other in the capital region. And really proud of this, great concept. And we hope to keep going forward and adding more things every year.
All right, let's walk a little bit here. We'll show off people playing cornhole, right? I mean, this is awesome. Just a great setup here. Come hang out on a beautiful summer night, play a little bit of cornhole, hang out lakeside, go to the Channel Bar, and we showed the people at the restaurant too as well, Gaetano. They're like, hey, when the thunderstorms roll in, as we know they have plenty of times, you pop inside and you can still have a great meal and a drink inside, man.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks for coming today. It's great to be here, and come see Lakeside and the new Channel Bar.
You guys have built quite the family empire here. I mean, the Lanzi name is just so synonymous with good food, good views, What pride do you have in, working with family the way you have now for so long and such an established a name here in the capital region?
So I'm a fourth generation restaurateur. My great grandfather came from Italy, and recently during COVID, we also opened up our flagship Lorenzo Southside in Amsterdam.
Yep.
All homemade pasta, Neapolitan pizza, and that brings us back to our roots and something to be very proud of.
Sport Island Pub as well.
Oh yeah, Sport Island.
Lorenzo's. Yep. We're here at
on the lake.
Lanzi's on the lake.
Partners
Lanzi's
Pub.
Lakeside Tavern,
Yeah.
Partners Pub,
Five
man.
locations, LanziFamilyRestaurants.com. Check us out.
I love it. Thank you, man. Thanks for
you.
having us
Yep,
here.
have a good one.
Onorato and Company live from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern here, courtesy of Saratoga Eagle. And Bud Light Seltzer Jeep is on site as well. So really, really cool thing going on here. Beautiful night to be out by the lake, that's for sure. Our thanks to Gaetano for hanging out with us here a little bit, and the great hospitality. As you can see, people behind me coming in on the pontoon boat. Parking lot's full. Great place to be on a summer night for sure. The gig isn't bad. All right, let's bring Ash into the conversation here, and we'll dive into. Sam is already commenting about that Wimbledon final, which was epic. Djokovic had history denied on Sunday at Wimbledon. Could have been his 24th Grand Slam title, could have been his 8th Wimbledon title, which would have been 5 in a row for him. And now I kind of wonder, is it a little bit of a changing of the guard at Wimbledon? Ash, fresh off an Athlete of the Week shoot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sweaty, dressed down, and feeling like I needed some AC. But my view is not nearly as good as yours.
Yeah, this isn't bad, huh? All right, so Sam says Novak played well enough to beat any other player yesterday. Alcaraz, only person who could have beat. And look, I mean, the match was like done,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was 6-1 in the first set, and it just looked like, hey, kind of cute by the 20-year-old, but the 36-year-old veteran, more experienced, still incredibly skilled, just going to be too much for Alcaraz. And then Carlos wins in a tie-break, set 2. Looks like he's going to run away with things after the third set. It was a phenomenal match. It had a game, Ash, in that third set that lasted 27 minutes. Unbelievable.
And a set that lasted an hour and a half. Like it was really good stuff. And I think that I always say this, but like when you have a 5-hour tennis match that's that good, I almost feel bad that someone has. I know it has to happen, but both of those guys played well enough to win. And Sam's right. If he was playing maybe any other player other than Alcaraz, maybe he wins that match. But that's the beauty of tennis. And I think it's the best person to play tennis. Because you said, oh, it was done. It was 6-1 after the first set. The beauty of tennis is that it doesn't matter. Realistically, it doesn't matter how you lose the set. Sometimes I think you rather lose it 6-1 because you've thought, well, I haven't put it. I didn't lose it 7-6 in a tiebreak. I haven't put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. On to the next, clean slate, and 2 sets later, he's up 2-1. So that's kind of the beauty of it all.
I think that's so perfectly analyzed, because I think losing as badly as Alcaraz did in the first set allowed him to just play freely. Like, hey, it can't get any worse. So let me be the big hitter that I am. And he just played so much more freely after that first set. And even in the tight moments, he was smiling and enjoying it and having fun. And it just felt like, okay, this guy realizes I'm playing an all-time great. And I may not win today, but I'm at least going to change my approach. I'm not going to be tight the way I probably was in the first set. And it showed. It absolutely showed. So I wonder now, is this a changing of the guard at Wimbledon? I mean, does this now signal kind of a change in the sport in terms of who, the top dog is going to be? Like, is Djokovic just going to continue to run in to the Carlos Alcaraz wall every single time he gets to a major final? And is he not going to be able to, handle this guy? Like, Alcaraz at the U.S. Open is going to be incredibly difficult to beat. I haven't looked up the odds to see but he'll be the favorite. There's no doubt. It'll be Alcaraz 1, Djokovic 2, 2 great hardcourt players. But my guess is Alcaraz will probably win the U.S. Open. And then Aussie Open is something that Djokovic has dominated, but that's another hardcourt surface major. So, I don't know. This is interesting. Like, it looked forever, right, that Serena Williams was going to break the women's record and the all-time record for that matter, almost with ease.
Mm-hmm.
And then age catches up a little bit, and all of a sudden you're playing a 20-year-old Naomi Osaka, and everybody is almost 20 years younger than you. This gets tough quickly, I think, for Novak.
Yeah, I think we always think, oh, it's going to be so much easier than it is, but then you get some of these young guns that come on the scene, and you're asking a 36-year-old Novak Djokovic, who is past his prime for sure, but he's still one of the best tennis players in the world, to compete with a 20-year-old who is just athletically, and he's got 20-year-old knees, he's got 20-year-old shoulders, 20-year-old ankles. Like, there's a big difference between a 36-year-old who's put all those miles on his body and a 20-year-old who is just kind of starting to get into that. So I think you're asking a lot. I don't think it's the end for Novak Djokovic. I think he gets the 24th and maybe the 25th, but it's going to slow down like it did for Federer, like it did for Nadal. Injuries will come faster, and if he's not injured, he's still going to run into Alcaraz at some point. I think he has to hope that maybe it's not every tournament he gets somebody else to knock him off, and it's not like, listen, he didn't get swept. It wasn't a 3 straight set loss. It was a competitive. So it's not over for him. But, yeah, he's going to see a lot of Carlos Alcaraz, and so is everyone else for the next 15 years of Carlos's life.
Sam is making the prediction none of us should make, but he's going to take his swing and hope he hit. Djokovic will win another Grand Slam.
I agree.
He's only 36. It's not like he's 40 playing a 20. Novak will win another, but Sam, take your shot. And for a long time, I was in the camp of, Tiger won't win another one as opposed to he'll break Jack's record. He only got one more since we were all making those crazy predictions, and it was a beautiful, beautiful thing at the Masters to see. But he probably won't win another one, talking about Tiger. And so if you want to take your swing at that, okay. But I think Novak is still, the class of the sport with Alcaraz now hard charging at very least. Billy wants to know, why am I still working? Wasn't I at the IRS window opening day? How about this? I have not placed a single Saratoga bet yet.
And you generally don't very often.
I generally don't. You're right. When I'm there, I might feel the pressure to play a little bit, right? Yeah. But here's the truth of it all. The fields have been so short because of all the weather-related scratches that it just hasn't had the early juice for me yet to feel like, what was I going to do? Play a Chad Brown, trifecta in the Diana and hope that I had it exactly 1, 2, 3, it just hasn't had it yet. I'll get on it. I wonder how Billy's doing. I'm sure he's on the positive side of things. He generally is. All right, let's take a quick time out here on Onorato and Company. When we come back, more from Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern. We're live here with Saratoga Eagle, Bud Light Seltzer. The Bud Light Seltzer Jeep is here. We're giving away samples. We're giving away coolers. And the Jeep is making its way around the 518 this week. So if you're watching us live or you're catching up on social media throughout the week, just follow Saratoga Eagle, specifically Instagram, but you can definitely find them on Facebook as well. And you can check out where the Bud Light Seltzer Jeep is going to be with some of the great giveaways as well. All right, time out here on O&Co. When we come back, conversation with Tony Cherchi, MLS analyst. Messi is in Miami. He's been spotted at a Publix, which just sent everybody freaking out on social media. It was awesome. And then he was actually introduced by, how cool is this? David Beckham introducing Lionel Messi to this Miami franchise. What will it do for soccer in the States? We're talking with Tony Cherchi next on Onorato and Company.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
Get ready for the thrill of a lifetime with Tracker fishing boats, available at Alpenhaus. Feel the rush as you reel in your trophy catch, supported by Tracker's unmatched stability. Prepare to conquer any challenge with cutting-edge tech at your fingertips and the freedom to explore without limits. Make waves this season and experience the ultimate fishing adventure with Tracker fishing boats at Alpenhaus. Your source for fun since 1964.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Back on Onorato and Company now, and time to dive into some really exciting stuff happening with soccer. A lot of the world focused on the Women's World Cup, and rightfully so. However, big things happening with MLS, and that's why we are joined by Tony Cherchi, who is host and analyst for MLS Season Pass, and a big partnership with Apple, which we'll get into here certainly. But Tony, my first question to you, as I say hello, good morning, thanks for doing the show, is Lionel Messi's arrival with MLS. Is he the biggest superstar in his quote unquote prime to join MLS?
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me. This is unheard of. I mean, I was talking about this just a while ago and making a comparison. I would say that this is if Michael Jordan would have joined another league besides the NBA in the 90s, is that big. I mean, we're getting right here in America, in Major League Soccer, the best, not only the best player in the world, but also the best player that has played this sport. So I think this is going to create a huge impact within the league, but also within soccer itself as a sport in America.
Two big statements there, and I like it, man. Bold. Best player currently, best player to ever do it. I mean, look, reigning World Cup champions with Argentina, golden ball, while he led his home country to that title, which, you know, was kind of the monkey on the back for him. The criticism was, will he win the big one, if you will? That's done, and now he takes on the challenge of MLS and Miami. So I'm glad you laid it out the way you did, because I've had conversations with people too, and I've said, you know, look, we can argue whether or not Messi's in his prime, and people more in tune with the game than me will have a better opinion, but it's bigger than Beckham coming over. He was at the end. Messi just won a World Cup, and what was the draw for him to come to America to play MLS soccer?
Well, that's interesting, and I think he will address that at some point. But I think that first, winning the World Cup, I think it was a trigger for him to make this decision to try something new. You know, he's played only in two leagues basically all of his life, in La Liga in Spain and Ligue 1 in France. So this is new for him. This competition has some different rules, some different roster rules, but I think that at his point in his career, he wanted something different. So and you were so right with that assessment. Him winning the World Cup, for me, it triggered a change in him. So maybe we don't have 2012 or 2015 Messi, which was an explosive player, a prolific goal scorer. I think he will score a lot of goals once he plays in MLS. But we have the more mature Messi and more relaxed in a good way. Messi this is a guy that has achieved all that he wanted in not only in sports, but maybe in life.
Yeah, that's excellent. The partnership between Major League Soccer and Apple. Old people are usually the ones who are resistant to change, and they say, where do I find that on TV? Well, it's streaming, and then it becomes, this is the new way. Whether or not people want to jump on board now, in a few years, they'll be forced to. Yeah. Why was this the right move for Major League Soccer to grow its brand and hopefully become more popular in America? And I'll get to a second on its popularity, but why was this the right partnership?
Well, first of all, I think that the league needed a change in terms of what was its delivery on TV. You know, it needed something reliable. It needed more space. So getting this deal with Apple, it's given them not only that, but a global recognition. Just let's pause for a minute and think that this league is going to be watched all over the world. We have 100+ markets with the MLS Season Pass service, and people are going to want to watch Lionel Messi. Not only Lionel Messi, we have some young talent here. Thiago Almada, which was a teammate of Messi at World Cup, is playing for Atlanta. This is a guy that is only 22 and is a rising star. So that was needed for the league to grow, to take a step forward. And the quality of the broadcasts that we have right now, it's nothing compared what the fans had before. So we have elevated the quality of production and the content also around the game. It's not only more, but it's more diverse, I would say. So this was the right time to take that step.
Find him on Twitter. It's easy, at Tony Cherchi. That's CHERCHI. We've got a lot to try to slam in here, Tony. But I want to ask you about the popularity of MLS in America, not just soccer in America, but MLS in particular. Have you found this to be a regional popular sport? Because you go to some of these stadiums and they're always sold out. Yeah. Or is this nationally popular? Has it expanded beyond the cities that house teams to a wider national audience?
I think we're getting there, and you're right. This is a league that has become pretty strong in certain regions, and when you come to think that LAFC and LA Galaxy just put 83,000 people in the stands for a game, in a regular season game, that's crazy. There's teams that have averaged more than 40,000 people every weekend at home games. So, yeah. This is a league that relies on that. That's a fortitude for them, for us. But I think that we're getting there. We're getting to that point when the league is going to be it's becoming a more of a national thing, a national interest thing. So, and I think eventually Messi playing in this league is going to help that for sure.
Yep. Let's talk about the Leagues Cup. School our audience a little bit about this, which is relatively new, and why it's such a big deal.
I would say this: imagine this is going to be the World Cup before the World Cup, because next World Cup, which is happening in America, in Mexico, some games, Canada, but basically most games are going to be played in the United States. And that World Cup is going to be the first one with 48 teams, and it's going to be there are going to be more games. So this is kind of that format with 47 teams. All of the teams in Liga MX, the Mexican Premier League, all of the teams in Major League Soccer, and the rivalry between these teams throughout the last, I would say, decade has grown so much that these are going to be very competitive matches. So that's going to be great. We're going to have it MLS Season Pass, all of the games, all of the pre-games, post-games around those matches. And there's word that Lionel Messi might have his debut with the Inter Miami shirt precisely on that first day of Leagues Cup, July 21st against Cruz Azul. So you should tune in.
Yeah, Messi's like, I don't know if I want to make my debut in like Kansas City. Maybe we'll save it for a bigger stage. Last thing, Tony, and I'll let you go. You're Venezuelan, correct?
Yes.
Best, maybe growing up, who was the athlete you idolized? And now is my guy, Ronald Acuna Jr., the best Venezuelan athlete out there.
Wow. If we don't get into Olympic sports, because we have a triple jump Olympic champion, besides that, I would say yes. I mean, Ronald is just a freak, and I'm glad that he went to the All-Star. I'm glad that he's leaving behind all those injuries that that couldn't that at some point make it difficult for us to enjoy his talent. So yeah, and to answer your first question, I would say that it was Andrés Galarraga. But then there's no arguing that at this point the best ball player in the history of Venezuela is Miguel Cabrera. So he's going to retire after this year. So we might as well enjoy it for the ride.
The big cat, Galarraga. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. Tony, man, thank you so much for the time. I know you're doing a lot of these to promote the great stuff that's happening between MLS and Apple TV. Again, MLS Season Pass, your place to get all of this exclusive Major League Soccer content, including when Messi makes his debut with Inter Miami. Tony, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I really enjoyed the conversation.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on. For cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair, you can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpen House.
Back live now at Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern here in Gloversville. What a beautiful, beautiful spot here. Beautiful summer day. I mean, kind of rare when you get that the way this summer's been going. So we lucked out big time to be where we are, and it looking as good as it does for us. Let me walk you around here. I'll show you this, though, too, as well. So Bud Light Seltzer, this is a new flavor, pink lemonade.
All right.
0 sugar, too. 0 sugar. Let me put that down.
Very healthy.
And we'll take right, exactly. I'll take a little bit of a walk here. Already showed you some of the lake. The cornhole action is getting intense here out on the lawn. But this is, the channel bar is something that the Lanzi's built during COVID. You heard Gaetano say we took a threat and turned it into an opportunity. And this is it. It's awesome. It's undercover, as you can see.
A little tiki hut feel.
It's a great spot. Yeah, really, really cool. Out on the patio. There they are. People are loving it. Really good spot. So if you're out this way, find an excuse if you aren't, and come check out Lanzi.
If you aren't, just go. Make it your excuse.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. I'm glad that this was kind of a situation. We were presented an opportunity. Otherwise, I don't know that I would have really spent much time here, but I will definitely be back, Ash. We need to make a point of doing that. All right.
Did you get a nap in?
Football. Oh, did I nap? Ooh, did I nap? My goodness. This is usually a trivia night for me Monday. Do trivia at Westside Sports Bar and Grill up in Saratoga Springs for our guy Dave Harmon.
Had to change the plan.
So I'm not at trivia, but who do I run into here at the channel bar? A couple of people who generally are always at trivia.
Oh, they're cheating on you.
That's okay. I'm here and I look around and I get it. And ESPN released this. They polled players, coaches, executives, top 10 quarterback lists. No surprise at 1 with Mahomes, right? I would say no surprise at 2 with Burrow. 3, Allen, makes sense. I think 4 is where maybe I was a little surprised coming off the year Aaron Rodgers just had that he would be considered the 4th best quarterback in all of football. But track record, history comes into play here. I think there are people around the league who probably think the way I do as well and figure he's going to be uber motivated this year, and that will bode well for his season.
Yeah, I think also, I just think if listen, we always talk about a recency bias, and I think the recency bias would be to move Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts up because of the seasons that they've had, particularly Hurts last season. I mean, he had an MVP caliber season. And I just think so you maybe put them ahead of Rodgers, but maybe even put them ahead of Allen. So I would put a little bit more into Herbert and Hurts, but overall, I don't have a huge problem with the list. I also would probably move Dak and Stafford down or out of it, but I'd have to come up. I'd have to rack my brain for who I'm putting ahead of them is the issue.
Yeah, I would move Lawrence up. Yep. And some of this is recency bias where I would knock Jackson down a peg or 2. Herbert for me is ahead of Rodgers. I think Rodgers then at 5. I think I like Lawrence long term over Hurts, Jackson, Dak, and Stafford on this list. So I can make a real strong case for Lawrence jumping a couple of spots to 6, honestly, now that he has like some competent coaching in Jacksonville with Peterson. The receiving options are really good now as well. I think Lawrence has a big year for Jacksonville in a weak division, understandably. So, yeah. You know me, I love lists. Absolutely love lists.
They're great because they're easy to debate. And, we just made a 5-minute segment into like, hey, I'd move this here and this here and this here. And it doesn't matter what I say, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. All right, we're going to take another time out here on Onorato and Company. When we come back, the Lion King is coming to Proctor's Theater. We are speaking with the man who plays Pumbaa. This is going to be awesome. Absolutely love it. Back on Onorato and Company right after this, the Bud Light Seltzer Jeep on display here at Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern in Gloversville. Hang on, everybody. Back in only a minute.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpin House.
Back on Onorato and Company, it's Chris, it's Ash. Ash, there is really nothing like a Disney soundtrack. Am I right?
Nothing like it.
I mean, it just sucks you in. It is just filled with nostalgia. We felt that way when we were previewing Aladdin's tour to Proctor's Theater. And every time you just hear some of the music associated now with The Lion King, which is coming to Schenectady, August 2nd through the 13th, it's just boom, right back to childhood. I love it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this. I think you and I did maybe a week ago or so. The Lion King is the first real Disney movie that I remember very well as a child. Like there was Bambi, but I don't remember much about it. I don't remember really liking it. The Lion King was it in terms of being like a formulative movie in my childhood. I mean, first of all, it's sad as heck. And you go back and watch it now and you're like, oh my God, kids are watching this? This is so sad and depressing. But the music is great. The characters are great. And and then it's been touring for how long? 20 plus years in the United States and worldwide. And it's been a smash everywhere it goes. Yeah, pretty awesome. It's going to be a smash at Proctor's. We are talking with, just set up for the audience, John E. Brady, who's playing Pumbaa, but we're just going to call you Brady, right?
That's what I'm called. That's the people who love me.
If that's what your friends call you, now we're friends. We're going to call you Brady.
Fantastic.
Yep. Happy to be a friend. So Brady, explain this to us. We know why it was such a hit in theaters and on TVs at home when people used to have VHSs and DVDs forever ago. Why is The Lion King something that translates so successfully to stage?
Oh, wow. So many reasons. First, I have to say that, yes, there are sad moments in The Lion King. It's true. But Timon and Pumbaa are not part of that. We're the funny guys. It's got a lot of humor to it, too. So don't think that you're just going to go and cry at Mufasa. There's some really good, funny songs in there. It resonated. I can tell you my own experience, right? Yeah. So I saw the very first public performance of it in New York. I had known somebody in the cast, and it was an invited dress rehearsal. And I went, and people were, including myself, had a little chip on their shoulder. I'm like, how are they going to make, what's Disney doing? Mm-hmm. How are they going to make this animated film come to life, which they had done with Beauty and the Beast pretty successfully. But it really, the Beauty and the Beast, also an amazing show, stuck with the story and the look of the animated movie. Lion King did not do that. It's set in Africa, so it has a lot of African themes, a lot of African music, a lot of cultures from all over the world that have been, injected into this feast of sight, sound, emotion, and I think it resonated because it just feels so immersive. Maybe all of the characters that are puppets. There's not everyone is a puppet, but everybody plays like plants. They play animals. They sing. There's so many African songs that sound. I can't describe it. It's like no other sound on earth, and we have so many South Africans in the cast. It's just the authenticity of it is just so exciting. And Julie Taymor, who directed it, did the costumes, a lot of some of the lyrics, and she just brought that magical combination of telling an amazing story that looks like you've never seen before, sounds like you've never seen before, and it just works. And it's been 25 years now, so something's going right.
Yeah, that's when you know that it's successful, when that's happening. Do you think that part of that, you use the word like immersive, do you think part of that cultural diversity and what makes The Lion King different than other shows on Broadway or other tours is what has made it so successful worldwide? This is a production that's in 9 languages, that has 8 productions running concurrently worldwide. There aren't a lot of other shows that can say that. And is that why?
Yes. It's silly to me to say it has universal themes. But it does. Yes, it has a very human feeling to it, even though I'm playing a warthog that farts all the time. It just speaks universally to the human spirit, and the things that the journey of a young, arrogant child cub that grows into a king, and the hardships that he overcomes to do so. So that answer your question?
Yeah. You know this
through the eyes of a farting pig.
Yeah.
You know this show, Brady, as well as anybody, and probably better than anybody in the cast, without maybe speaking out of turn here. What is it about the character of Pumbaa, though, having played others, that drew you?
Right. I was the second person hired after the original cast. So I've been connected to this show since 1997. I played Timon on Broadway for a few years. I played Pumbaa on Broadway for a year. I played Zazu for a couple years interspersed. And then I also understudied all 3 of those roles. So I've been connected to many, many people, the family we call the Lion King, because once you're in the Lion King, you can play in Japan. It's a very I don't know what I'm saying. It's a family, right? So I played it on Broadway. Now I'm doing it on tour 25 years later. And I've seen the many, many cast members come in and out. I've played with, 13 Simbas and 25 Nalas or something like that. So I've been able to see what everybody's been able to bring to it. And again, it goes to the fact that this show the diversity of personality, diversity of race, we have and cultures. Yeah, it brings all of those things together in such a unique way that, again, it doesn't matter who you bring your own talent to it and your own interpretation, and it still holds up. I guess is my point.
Playing all 3 of those characters on Broadway. Let's go to Pumbaa, though. I don't know exactly how many years ago you played him on Broadway, but has that character developed and changed even for you from your Broadway experience to now touring the rest of North America? And how has it changed? And maybe how has your humor changed, or how have you decided to change that character?
I learn something every time I do the show, right? So it's for me, all 3 characters that I played. But Pumbaa in particular has been, first of all, when I started Lion King, I was 38 years old. I'm now 60. So Pumbaa's changed in the fact that he feels a lot heavier. I can say that for a fact. But every time you're on stage with somebody new, like an understudy, or right now I'm working with a wonderful actor called Nick Corleone who plays Timon. The chemistry is always changing, every single night, every single moment, right? So that's the wonderful thing about what we do, or what I love about acting, is that it's live theater is never the same twice. And there's always something happening. Sometimes it's not good, like the settle break in the middle of a scene and you have to deal with it. Or it's wonderful when, like, you do something funny and then that one kid in the way back of the audience laughs and makes the whole audience laugh, right? Because he got the joke a little bit late. So it's that give and take on stage with the audience, with everybody backstage, with the rest of the cast. So I'm always learning and I'm always experiencing it in the moment. So it's never boring. And I'm learning stuff about how to do the puppet every single time. And after 25 years, it amazes me how much I go, oh, I could do this. I should do this here. Why didn't I think of that 25 years ago? So yeah, it's a journey. It's a never ending journey that is always exciting.
You've played Proctor's before. I don't know.
I have played Proctor's before. Love Proctor's. What an amazing space. Love Proctor's. Great theater. If you've never been to that theater, go to that theater. It's awesome.
So can you answer this in a Pumbaa voice for me? What do you remember? Well, you don't have to get into specifics here. I'm not putting you on the spot. But what do you remember about your Proctor's experience, Pumbaa?
Well, I was a different character. So I was in Newsies the Musical. And I did a character named Weasel.
I seem to play a lot of animals. I don't know why. I don't know why.
It takes a special person,
warthog,
that's why.
A hornbill, a weasel.
All right, so what am I saying? What do I remember? Well, we were creating a new tour at the theater. So that's what I remember the most, was the technical difficulties that we're trying to get over. And we were always in the theater, and the people there were so amazing. It's an amazing theater. So, yes, there's too many things to talk about. It was an amazing experience.
Chris, I'm sure they ask him to rest his voice when he's not.
Oh no!
And we're taxing it here.
If my voice isn't gone by now,
Hakuna Matata.
All right. Well, Brady, thank you for playing along with that. Ash always gets the last word. Ash.
We got to give the people the dates. August 2nd, right?
August 2nd through the 13th. Yep,
okay.
We do that.
Did we already do that?
In 3 weeks. We're there in 3 weeks. We tend to sell out very fast.
Okay.
So we're in Washington, D.C. right now. We're sold out for the rest of the run. Amazing audiences here. But I have a feeling that,
run to the theater. Get your tickets now.
Proctors.org is the best way to do it. Again, August 2nd through the 13th. Ash, anything else for our guy Brady?
Yeah, and I probably know the answer to this because I'm sure it's like any athlete or any other entertainer, musician. Do you get a rush every time you go out there? Like final, like standing ovation? Is it every time? Does it still get you 25 years later?
In The Lion King, the 3 characters that I have played, their entrances are all the best entrances in the history of theater, right? So Timon and Pumbaa run on and chase off buzzards.
Yeah.
So, and Zazu does the same thing. He runs on and he has this amazing scene with Scar at the beginning where Scar almost eats him, and you're running on screaming. So yes, there's absolutely a rush every single time. And of course, at the end of the show, I'm always amazed, to tell you the truth, that the audiences are so enthusiastic because after 25 years, it still blows me away how much people seem to enjoy this show.
Well, I think, Brady, this is true too for The Lion King, but also for other traveling shows. And we'll let you go after this. I grew up in Northern Jersey, was fortunate enough to go to Broadway. Ash and I love going to Broadway. The traveling show, the quality of the traveling show is so much better than what I think people, generally speaking, give it credit to be. If people say, oh, if it's not on Broadway, we've gone to enough shows at Proctor's. The production is as good as if you were to see it at Eugene O'Neill Theater. I don't know, wherever. It's
the Minskoff, but I have done Broadway and I have done the tour, and I can tell you there is not a discernible difference.
Yeah.
It's the exact same sets. It's the exact same. The orchestra is a tiny bit smaller, but only because the orchestra's pitch smaller. Yeah. So if the Broadway production had a smaller pit, they'd be playing with the same music. We have a larger orchestra here because the pit can hold more people. So that's the only difference. And even then, there's no way you would be able to know that it's in any way different from the Broadway show. And we could switch. Like we could go to Broadway and they could come on the road and you have the exact same experience. And I can say that with all, it's absolutely true.
And that's why I say I think the response from the audience is always as good as it is. All right, we're going to let you rest your voice. We're going to let Ash cough off camera. And Brady, we can't wait to see it. We saw Aladdin at Proctor's.
Can't wait to meet you guys in person.
Yes.
And I do. I love that theater.
Please.
It's so gorgeous, and it plays like all the seats are great seats. It has this rich history. So yeah, we're all excited to go there.
And off camera, we've got to get you Restaurant Rex or whatever you're looking for in Schenectady.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I've been there, so
yeah.
I know
so you've probably done a few.
I know a few places I'm going to visit after every show.
Yeah. Good. I love that. Cool. Brady, thank you so much, man. Continued success. Enjoy DC and being around some family, and safe travels up to Schenectady. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Can't wait. See you in 3 weeks.
Whether you're into lounging, cruising, or just relaxing, summer fun starts with Alpenhaus. Enjoy a smooth ride that'll change the way you boat forever on a Barletta pontoon powered by Mercury Outboard. Nobody makes a more reliable, powerful lineup of outboard motors than Mercury to continue propelling your adventures. Now's the perfect time to buy a new Barletta pontoon with the legendary performance of a Mercury outboard. Alpenhaus, Route 30, Amsterdam, and alpenhausboats.com.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Now, Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern on the Great Sacandaga Lake, and we're going to rip through Performance Industrial, Dirty, Difficult, Done. Ash, here we go.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
And our shout out to Bill Miller and his great team at Performance Industrial, where there's never a job too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done. Rory McIlroy, Ash, says he'd rather be done than ever play for Live Golf. Rory doubling down on his.
If it was the last thing on earth, he wouldn't do it.
That's right. He says, I'm not doing it. And I love that he just continues to double down on this sentiment, and good for him. I think it continues to earn him respect from his peers who feel the same way. It earns him respect of the fans, and why not just continue to bang the drum on this thing?
Yeah. I'm not sure everybody would be as willing to say it, but you on a prior show called him out and said, if you really believed it, you wouldn't play. You would just quit. And I said, nobody's going to do that. Maybe Rory would do it, but Rory's got enough money that he could do it.
Yeah, right. You really have to wonder, like, it will ever come down to that. Certainly, we hope not. Hey, our thanks to Lanzi's Lakeside Tavern for hosting us here this week. Thanks for hanging out and watching Onorato and Company. Come check out this great place on the Great Sacandaga.